Today we're doing my first tag video, and we're doing the VIP Person of Interest tag, and that's coming up right now. What's up, VIPs? Derek here, back with another video where it's all about helping you discover life after sight loss. On this channel, we do product reviews, life advice, how-tos, encouragement, and more. So if that sounds good to you, consider smashing that subscribe button so you don't miss another single video. Today, I'm doing something just a little bit different because I've been nominated to do the Visually Impaired Person of Interest tag video. And basically what happens on this video is where I answer some questions based on being visually impaired and so forth. And how this works is somebody else has to nominate you. So of course my good buddy Sam from the Blind Spot has nominated me, and so I'll be answering these questions. So thanks to Sam for doing that. I feel so connected. I've watched about 5 or 6 other people doing this video, and it seems like a lot of fun. So I'm gonna try to give all my responses, and hopefully they're interesting or at least entertaining in some way, shape, or form. So all right, so let's get started with the video. I'm gonna use my iPad, and my good buddy Alex is going to read these to me. Alex is a fake voice. Yes, he's my good friend. Anyway, my friend Alex is going to read them to me, and we'll see what happens here. Let's start with number 1.
What medical condition caused to be visually impaired or blind?
What medical condition? I have something called Leber's hereditary optic neuropathy. Basically, it's LHON for short. It is something that is pretty rare, and I don't know a ton of people that have it. I think I've met about 2 or 3 in my life. It affects the optic nerve. When I was 18, I noticed a big spot in the middle of my eye, and in about 6 to 8 weeks, I had went from 20/20 vision to being legally blind. So I lost about 85% of my sight. Something swells with the nerve, and then it's bad, and then you lose your sight. So I don't have any central vision. I have some peripheral vision on the sides, kind of hazy. It's similar to how people with macular degeneration lose their vision, except typically they lose their vision a lot slower than I did. Now, that's not always the case. I'm not a doctor, but for the most part, that's pretty general rule that MACD, as I'm calling it, which is not really a thing, they lose their sight a little slower. But it affects it very similarly. So, Leber's hereditary optic neuropathy, it's a genetic disease. It's passed down through the maternal side of things, through the mitochondria, and slip into medical jargon, blah, 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 words here that I don't understand, but I'm blind. So there you go, LHON. All right, number 2.
2. In 3 words, describe your vision.
In 3 words, describe my vision. Bad? I don't know. Let's see. I'm nearsighted. That could be one. It's inconvenient. It's annoying. I think if I was trying to come up with a like sentence, like it's really hard or something like that. But there's lots of words you can use, and some people have gone very positive on these videos. You know, it's like it's unique and interesting, and that's true as well. But it's hard to pin down just 3 simple words to describe my vision. If you're physically going to describe it, nearsighted, it's blurry. You know, things like that. But if you're going to describe it just from my point of view, sometimes it's inconvenient, sometimes it's annoying, but always it's interesting. So there you go. All right, here we go.
3. What is the hardest thing to do being blind or visually impaired?
What is the hardest thing to do? The hardest thing to do is probably driving. I think Sam said this. Driving's very hard. I run into things a lot. Police don't appreciate that, nor your neighbors in their mailboxes. And I think the hardest thing to do is to understand it all, I think. You know, and the hardest thing to do is just come to terms with it. But once you do, it's unique. It's interesting. But yeah, I think obviously driving, put a peanut butter on, you know, on a piece of toast, or putting toothpaste on a toothbrush, little things like that are always hard to do. But I think for me, it's always been hardest up here, you know, in my head. I'm pointing to my head. I need audio description. I think that's probably the hardest thing. It's just that mental capacity, just to understand it, come to grips with it. It's not a daily thing, obviously, but you know, you have those days. So yeah, that's probably for me.
4. What is the best part about being blind or visually impaired?
What's the best part? Pity? No, no, just kidding. No, I think look, this is gonna sound selfish and terrible, but special treatment. Like I've been to the airport before and with my family, and I'll have my cane and they'll be like, you come over here, and they'll call us over to a shorter line, and we don't have to do as much security checks, so that's nice. One time I got put on first class in an airplane because at the time I had a guide dog, and they had put me in the back and I wasn't supposed to be, so they bumped me up to first class with no extra fees, and so that was really nice. So I think, yeah, I mean, honestly, it's special treatment. It's really nice. But as others have said, meeting new interesting people that you would have never met or never known because you had without the visual impairment. So that's probably that and special treatment. I mean, hey, let's be honest. Pizza in first class, it's a win.
5. What question do you get asked most about or because of your vision?
What question do I get asked the most? Probably, how much can you see? And then I usually answer, not as much as you think. What question do I get asked? I get asked that a lot. And typically the statement that I get the most is, you don't look blind. I don't know what blind people look like. I guess big sunglasses and a cane and falling down all the time. I don't know what they think blind people look like. This is what blind people look like. If you're visually impaired, you're what blind people look like. Like, we just look normal. But I think people are looking for that typical, like, oh, I can't see, that sort of thing. But we're what blind people look like. We all look different, and that's okay. So yeah, I probably get that statement and that question the most often.
6. Do you have a cane, a guide dog, or neither?
I've had both. I currently have a cane, which I don't use all that often. If I'm on my own, it's mostly for other people. Like, I'm blind, look at, hey. If I'm trying to use that thing at Walmart where I have to sign and like, I like to have the cane because then people aren't just like, what's wrong with you? Why can't you sign this? But yeah, it's mostly for other people. If I'm by myself or if I'm in an airport, something like that. And I had a guide dog for about 6 years, which I got from Leader Dogs for the Blind, which is an awesome place. I'll put a link in the description below if you want to learn more about Leader Dogs for the Blind. And I did a whole video about things to consider before getting a guide dog, and I'll link that below as well. Guide dogs are great. What can I say? He was awesome, an awesome dog. He's since passed away, but he was a great dog. He lived to be old, and he was wonderful. So yeah, I've had both, and I love the dog. The cane's kind of annoying. I did a video about a white cane as well, and I'll link that below too. But yeah, I've got a cane. I use it sparingly. So yeah, there you go.
7. What one piece of advice would you give to someone who is losing or has lost their sight?
What one piece of advice? People always say this. They always say, it's not the end of the world. And it's true, it's not the end of the world. But what I always tell people is it is the end of something. And they have to be aware of that. I think it's important. It is the end of life as you understood it for the most part. Now that sounds kind of doom and gloom, but the reality is it is kind of over in some sense. Your life isn't over, but what you understood it to be might be. It's going to be different now. You're not going to drive if you always drove. You're not going to attend things the same way. You're not going to put food together the same way. It's going to be different. Not bad, just different. And so I would always make people aware that the life you're getting ready to experience is going to be different and probably difficult, at least for a while. And that's okay. Just be aware that it is different, but different doesn't mean bad or negative. Different just means different, and that's okay.
8. What one piece of advice would you give to a sighted person about interacting with a person who is blind or visually impaired?
Give to a sighted person. Don't be stupid. I think sighted people just have no idea when I was sighted, I didn't know. And so they just don't understand. I would say this, always ask and say, what would you do? How can I help? May I help you? How can I best help you? That sort of thing. I think Sam said, and I would agree, don't drag somebody. I've had that before. I will say I was in an airport one time and a guy was very helpful. He said, are you trying to find something? I was looking for the bathroom. He said, can I help you, find the restroom? I said, that'd be great. He put his arm out and said, would you like to take my arm? I did. He walked me over there. He waited for me outside the restroom. I took it and he walked back to see. It was great. It was a great sighted person interaction. I loved it. It was awesome. That guy deserves a high five because he did a great job. So sighted people, just ask. That's a big thing. Just ask. How can I help? May I help? And if the person says no, cool, thank you, move on. Don't be like, they need help, I shall help them. My powers of sight shall overcome for them. Just calm down. It's going to be all right. So always ask.
9. Why did you start YouTube or blogging?
Why did I start YouTube? On a whim at first. I was just like, I think I'll make some YouTube videos. I've started some other channels and podcasts and so forth that flopped. But I think I started because for me, it was an expression of just stuff going on in me. I just want to express it and get it out, kind of a diary. And then it was just kind of like, you know what? There are probably tons of people. I'm really talking to myself because there are probably tons of people that are in my situation that really, I don't know, they have trouble losing their sight. And I thought, hey, maybe I can offer some experience or understanding that maybe I didn't get. And I can offer some wisdom, or at the very least, just some, yeah, I feel that too. And it's okay to feel that. So hopefully maybe people will appreciate that. So yeah, I started YouTube just kind of on a whim, and then people actually appreciated it, and I started building a community, and so this is good. Let's keep doing it. So thank you.
10. Nominate people to do this tag next.
And finally, nominate people to do this tag next. Now here's the thing. I'm pretty new here, and I don't know a ton of YouTubers that are visually impaired. So this is my challenge. If you are watching this and you're visually impaired, you're blind, you're whatever, you do this. I challenge you to do this. Make a video, make a recording, an audio recording. Do something where you share your story, because hopefully if I share anything on this channel, it's that your story matters, is important, and is worth sharing. Your opinions are worth sharing. Maybe people won't always agree with you. I mean, I recently had somebody disagree with me on a video, and that was okay and perfectly fine. And so share your story, because it's worth sharing, because you matter. So if you're watching this and you're visually impaired, go for it. Make this video. Hey, thank you so much for watching this video. It's a little long, a little lengthy, a little crazy, whatever. Thanks for sticking around to the end. I really appreciate it. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, make sure to give it a big thumbs up, and make sure to smash that subscribe button so you don't miss another single video. And until next time, my name is Derek, and I'll see you in the next one.